What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Hywel Evans and today we're doing a 45-minute shoulder workout. So like I just said, guys, I'm going to take you through my shoulder workout today, and today we're training a little bit differently from the shoulder workouts we've done in the past. We're actually working on some time under tension training, which is why you could probably see me here doing what you might think are half reps. Basically, what I'm doing here for the dumbbell press, I'm going to overlay all the sets and everything on screen, so don't worry about that. But I'm actually trying to keep tension on that front delt for as long as possible. And by doing that, not locking out my elbows. Because realistically, if I lock out my elbows at the top of that motion, I can hold that for like a significant amount of time. That's just putting pressure all the way through my joints, through my bones, places I don't want the pressure to be. So for that reason, we're burning out the front delts early on in this actual exercise routine. We're going to hit the dumbbell press and actually superset that as well with very light front raises. I've talked about front raises before in many other videos, and the fact that they're actually utilized quite incorrectly and you can swing around quite a lot of weight doing a front raise. So for that reason, I've really lightened the load on this. I think these are only actually 4K, and I'm actually focusing completely raising the weight with that front delt by squeezing it at the bottom of the motion. Supersetting that with the actual dumbbell press itself at 10 to 12 reps, that is like significant burn on the front delts, and that completely knocks them out for like the entire workout, which is good because we're doing a 45-minute workout today. So if we can knock out a body part like that, or not a body part rather, the actual front delt, and then work on side delts and rear delts, which are my weaknesses, for the rest of the workout, that's absolutely ideal. Plus, the front delt does get a lot of love from other pressing exercises, like the chest press and just incline press in general. So when I'm working actually my chest days, the front delts are activated quite a lot in those days. That's usually why I wouldn't isolate them specifically using such as a front raise. But using it for supersets in this fashion does actually work, and it helps burn out that muscle rather fast, and just it gives an extra stimulus, and it's a way to increase volume on your dumbbell press, especially when you're doing time under tension training, which we're doing today. Now this is something you wouldn't have seen on the channel before because it's something I've only recently picked up. I actually picked it up from Jeremy Boulder. I've been watching a lot of his videos recently, and I know that they train a lot differently to natural lifters, and that's nothing against them. They train with like absolute intensity, which is why I thought I'd give this a go. This is called FST training. I think it's FST7 training specifically, but basically what you're doing is keeping your side delt under tension for one side and repping out on the other side. So we're actually completing the normal amount of reps, but the weight is significantly dropped again because that tension is held at the top of the movement. So what you'll actually see me do is complete the first rep and then hold one arm and complete 5 reps on one side, repeat for the other side, then move down to 3 reps and then finish off with 2. So totaling for 10 reps on each side. That's what before the static holds, and then once that static hold's been done on both sides for the 5-3-2, I actually go into like a repping out phase where I try and hit between 5 and 10 reps. So my goal is to hit 8+. That totals up for like 15 to 20 reps on the side raise then, and you're doing that for 4 sets. So by the time you've actually done that movement, your side delts are absolutely blitzed. Honestly, if you've never done this before, and I'd imagine quite a lot of you haven't because it's completely new to me and it's something I've only recently found, then definitely give it a go, but just be cautious. You are going to have to lower the weight quite a lot. Now this next movement, I'm going to call it the rear delt row, but it's actually a face pull, it's just with a different attachment. Now I've showed face pulls on the channel before. I've showed them with a rope, which is what I usually do because you can increase the range of motion. But this is just a way for me to show you that you don't have to use the rope and you can mix it up. I'm actually using a lat pull down machine, and I'm just making sure those elbows are kept high, making sure I'm flaring them out and pulling with my rear delt. So what you will notice in this movement, if you look closely, is that I'm actually just hooking my hands over. There's no grip there at all. I'm literally just keeping all the tension. Basically, I'm only holding on with the tips of my fingers and trying to keep that tension only on the rear delt. Literally pulling with the rear delt. There's no other way for me to describe it apart from imagining that you have literally no forearms and you're pulling with your rear delt. Maybe try and bring your elbows together behind your back. That might be a good way of actually trying it out. Maybe give that a go, but these are like quite high reps again. Rear delts, you're going to be hitting like 12 to 15 reps. That's the way I feel it. We're going to do 4 sets on this exercise and literally move into rear delts straight away again, because they are something which is very much overlooked in like actual natural bodybuilding, and I don't understand why. I guess it's because you can't really see them, they're not really talked about. It's generally underworked, and that's pretty much what I did as like a beginner lifter, so that's why I'm kind of like lacking on them now. I'm trying to up the volume on them and like bring them back into place with front delts and side delts. So that's kind of why they sit in the middle of my routine, and I hit 4, and now we're moving on to like 3 sets of rear flies directly after. At this point, they are like completely burning, and this is a good way to do it. Do those movements directly after each other. I think it's worth giving a go if you can't normally feel rear delt work, because it can be like something which is a bit of a nightmare to feel, honestly. Because again, you can't feel them. It's kind of like working the back, which brings me on to a point when I'm actually doing these rear delt flies. You can see it kind of just about there. The lighting's not great, but the motion in this doesn't look significant. That's because I'm trying to keep my tension on that rear delt, which you can just about see popping there in the light. Any further back than that, I'm actually going to be bringing the traps and upper back into play. So if I was to complete the full range of motion and almost try and bring my hands together on the back of this movement, that's going to bring my upper back into play, and that's not really what I'm trying to work here. I'm trying to keep the tension through the rear delts again, so time under tension training. That's kind of why the movement is small, and that's the movement you need for that exercise. You only need a small movement as long as it's controlled and you're keeping the tension there. Moving on from that, we're going back into side raises. We've knocked out fronts, we've knocked out rears. This is the final side raise exercise, and we're doing 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps with 1 minute rest, 1 minute working time. Now, this is a movement alternating from the side raise. It's kind of the way you can overload the side raise, because without actually swinging about on the actual side raise itself, you are losing a lot of tension by doing that. This is a way you can actually increase weight. The range of motion is very similar. As you can see, those side delts are being raised. One thing I'm trying to focus on is a wider grip and those elbows right up, just to focus on getting that side delt in the same range of motion as a side raise, but by actually progressively overloading this in an upright row. That's something I am working on. It's something I'm hoping is going to improve in this like mini off season, I could call it. And that's just one way I'm looking to bring up my side delts. I think it's worth giving a go for yourself as well. Moving on, the final exercise, we're moving into shrugs, something I wouldn't normally put into my like actual shoulder routines itself, mainly because I work shoulders, the trap region, when I'm doing stuff like rack pulls and deadlifts. But as this 45-minute workout like routine works out, we're not actually doing rack pulls and deadlifts in the back day, which you would have seen before this video. If you haven't, please check it out. But yeah, that's such a compound movement that we didn't have time to incorporate that into the routine, which is why we're hitting shrugs up on this actual day and hitting it with quite high volume, so 4 sets of 10 to 12. That's pretty much it for the entire routine. I will leave everything in the description below if you're interested in trying it out. And if you do try it out, make sure to leave a comment in the section below, because it helps me out and it also lets me know that these routines are working for you. I do appreciate you watching, guys, and if any of this helps, please share it with a friend. Feel free to like the video and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.